Sometimes when we plan motorcycle trips, it isn't always about the destination. Sometimes it's about the road that gets you there. In 1899, Theodore Carlton Schnebly moved he and his wife to the rugged, dry area of northern Arizona. By the turn of the century, there were about 15 families that called this area of Arizona their home. Theodore Carlton Schnebly saw a need to establish a post office to serve the local community. After a couple failed attempts to establish a name with the Postmaster General in Washington, he then decided to settle on the shorter name of his wife, Sedona Miller Schnebly. So the Sedona mail station would be established. And then, just like what would often happen in other cities, the mail station's name would then be adopted as the city's name, and Sedona, Arizona would be established. By the turn of the century, more settlers were migrating to the Sedona area, some of them being lured in by the local mining town of Jerome. Others trapped animals in the winter and sold pelts. Some took up fishing in the Oak Creek River and then sold their fish to the miners in Jerome. But what Sedona is best known for is its orange and reddish colored sandstone rock formations that fill the skyline in the surrounding areas. But as I alluded to before, this trip wasn't just about riding to Sedona and hanging out. This trip was more planned around riding one of the most beautiful and oftentimes rated as one of the top 10 most scenic rides in the United States of America, the Hwy 89A, which we took from the northern town of Flagstaff and rode it down south through Jerome and ended up in Prescott for the night. To fulfill one of my lifetime goals of riding the most beautiful motorcycle roads in America, the 89A was definitely one on the list that I've been itching to check off for a long time. So we gathered up the Laidlaw's Harley-Davidson crew and a few of our close friends, and we headed out east. As usual, we had the same time constraints that we've had in the past, when a lot of us that work at the dealership all ride together because we all have the same work schedule. We had to cram everything into about 2.5 days and 2 nights out on the road. So we had the typical plan and the typical schedule, work a full day on Saturday and leave after work. The first night we'd be heading into Laughlin, Nevada and logging about 268 miles. The route we decided to take for the first night was going east on the 10 freeway, headed up the 57 to the 210 east, and then catching the 15 north and going up and over the Cajon Pass, up into the high desert, and then we got to the 40 and we headed out east on the 40. Instead of just taking the 40 into Needles, we decided to branch off on the 66 and take the 95 up to the 163 and then drop down into Laughlin. It's always our intention to leave a little bit before the dealership closes, but we really weren't able to cut away from work early, so we ended up getting a late start and headed out at about 6:30 at night. This wouldn't put us into Laughlin until about midnight, and we were still looking to have a little bit of fun and hit the casinos and see what the nightlife was like in Laughlin. We were running a crew of 7 to 10 guys, depending on what minute of what day you were talking about. This is our buddy Roman on his 2022 model year Street Glide in the blue steel. And this is our buddy Tim on his 2022 model year Road Glide Special in the Gunship Gray with black trim. The first night we lost our sunlight fast, so it was just us plowing through the dark desert floor on our Harleys.
I also need the magnet on it.
Don't smoke, kids.
Ow.
What the hell happened?
We were in a rush. I was trying to change the battery out of my vapor machine for nicotine on the highway because I got a modular so I can smoke on the freeway.
Well, that's why you bought the modular helmet, so you can smoke?
Yes. And I dropped the battery and it fell in against the header, and I tried to get it, and the header was hot because we were warming them up, and I like to do that with motorcycles. And now the battery is in the skid plate.
Keeping
in battery, spare batteries.
Can you get a little bit closer?
You got Daddy Butt Cheeks pulling it out for you?
That's my daddy.
Am I burning my forehead on the case right now? It doesn't feel great. Get in there.
Get that battery, boys.
Trying.
Get it out of there.
It's a flashlight battery, not a video. Yeah!
Oh, there it is.
That thing's hammered. Look, it felt like this.
Good. Nice, Jack. Nice.
This is actually still usable.
Hey, what about the uncredited magnetic guy down
There we go.
here? That's the right shot.
We got 2 Pan Americas on the trip tonight. Nick's rocking his Pan America. How's it treating you, Nick?
Oh, it's great.
You seem to be buzzing by just fine at 140.
Yeah. Front end's a little light at that speed because of the bags, I think.
My white wall's real good, dude.
Dude, we gotta wait for the morning. We got the sunshine beating against those white walls.
That's right.
The moonlight doesn't do it justice.
Oh, they're like half moons in the night sky, you know?
This is quintessential Harley-Davidson right here.
You see those 3 lights coming at you in your rear view? Like that's Harley-Davidson.
You mean like those 5 lights, man?
Oh, yeah, those 2.
I mean, your turn signals are like another like daymaker.
Yeah. But that's what gets the white walls tonight.
That's true.
They shine against it.
Oh, you still got the pig from Death Valley?
Winston, yeah.
Winston.
The traveling pig. It's my good luck charm.
I love it. Is this like a reveal video too? This is Andrew's new bike, guys. This is his second Pan America.
Did you guys tell when I hit my braking part? I was like, ooh, 500.
We'll get a better shot in the morning. All right, so we just made it to Laughlin for the night. We're at the Harrows right now. And yeah, we're pulling all our luggage and stuff out of the bags here. You know, I was saying, I think this is the first time I've ever been to Laughlin. It's kind of embarrassing because it's like a pretty popular motorcycle destination. But yeah, we're here, gonna turn in for the night. Might hit the tables or something like that. And in the morning, we'll be hitting up Sedona.
I'm doing a full in-depth review on it.
You got that cover on, Andrew?
Yeah, the brochure says it's going to protect my bike from harmful UV rays. It's just to keep my seat dry
Okay.
and my spirits up. If someone's going to steal the bike, they're not going to go through the trouble because they can't get to the handlebars. They're going to go to the next bike.
Is that a genuine Harley-Davidson product?
Genuine Harley-Davidson, dude. And it's reflective, so if someone's going to come barreling down the parking lot and they see that, they'll turn.
All right, so we're hitting the casino now here at the Harrah's in Laughlin. I think we're gonna do a little blackjack here. It's like 12:30 in the morning. You know, the night is young, so we're gonna hit up a little bit of blackjack, I think. All right, so we just woke up here in Laughlin, Nevada. This is actually the first time I've ever been here, which is kind of strange because Laughlin's a pretty popular motorcyclist destination, especially in the Harley world. Rest in peace, Laughlin River Run. We're getting ready to take off. We're gonna head into Kingman and then head over to Flagstaff. We're gonna drop down on the 89A from Flagstaff into Sedona and then go up through, you know, places like Jerome, and we're gonna end up in Prescott tonight. But yeah, I think this is the first time I've ever been to Laughlin actually, which is kind of surprising because it's a pretty popular Harley-Davidson destination, but yeah, never been here. Kind of a cool little like Las Vegas on the river. So yeah, we got a nice little group here and looking forward to Sedona. John here on the Street Glide. What year is your bike again, John?
2010.
2010 Street Glide here, black denim. Got Brandon's Road King Classic here. Dude, talk about your night last night, dude, at the tables.
Lady Luck was on my side. All those guys were playing blackjack and started off pretty slow and then started winning.
Yeah, I lost all my money.
You lost all your money,
Yeah,
then you left, and then John played it smart and he cashed out. He's like, I'm gonna go to bed. And it was like 2 o'clock. Then Jack here, he lost all his money and he was gonna get another drink and we're gonna keep playing. I was like, you know what, let's just go to bed. So I had about, I don't know, $80 to $100 and I just went all in. I was like, screw it. Had a good time, just went all in. I was prepared to lose it all and it hit blackjack.
Nice.
And I got paid out. I'm like, I'm gonna take that as good luck and go to bed.
So how much did you come out ahead?
Had about $452.
Damn,
Yeah.
there you go.
Paid
Free
for-
rooms last night,
yeah,
huh?
Yeah, paid for the
I was
room.
doing good so long as John was sitting by my side. We call him the coach because he's the seasoned veteran of it. As soon as John left the table, gone. All the luck God. Dealer change, lost it all.
Oh, and another cool note, the AC in our room did not work, and it was really hot, and we used wet towels to cool us down. We're sleeping with wet towels. The mattress is soaked.
Yeah, I was laying there and all of a sudden I was going to smack on my freaking back. It was just a wet towel.
But it felt good.
So you guys gonna leave the hair as a bad Yelp review then?
Oh,
Absolutely.
100%.
So Lady Luck was definitely not on my side last night. I lost about $240 at the blackjack table. So, yeah, it was good to see that somebody won.
After we left Laughlin and crossed over the Colorado River, we headed east on the Interstate 40, which is a section of the iconic Route 66. If you ever want to get a taste for desert landscapes and want to relive the western United States history, Route 66 is a great place to start. So the first stop was going to come relatively quick in Kingman, Arizona, then we'd head out and stop at Seligman, and then we'd find our way to Flagstaff, Arizona, where we'd hang a hard right-hand turn and head down 89A and follow that through into Sedona. Heading out of Sedona, we definitely wanted to make it a point to travel through Jerome, which is an old mining town, and then from Jerome we'd go up and over the hill and find our way into Prescott for the night. The total mileage for the day would be about 273 miles and a lot of stops along the way.
So pit stop, gas stop here in Seligman. So we're on the famous Route 66 right now, and we're headed into Flagstaff. So yeah, decided to get some gas here in Seligman, and we probably will just drive right through Flagstaff, I think, and head down 89A into Sedona. The plan is to get some lunch in Sedona. But perfect weather today. It's early April right now, and so yeah, we timed this thing just perfect. But yeah, Seligman's kind of a cool, like, historic town off Route 66. But yeah, so far so good. Bikes are running good, and weather's good, so couldn't be better. All right, so this is Tim's new bike, 2022 model year Road Glide Special. So you did the bars, Tim, you did the seat.
Yeah, bars, seat, and a pipe. Yeah, oh, the slip-ons, yeah.
Right on, man.
On the touring screen on that thing.
Tim was just in Sedona in October. He biked the whole thing.
That was good, man. You can't beat that scenery out there, you know?
When I say bike, bicycle, rode the whole thing on his bicycle.
Yeah, mountain bikes, oh yeah.
Mountain bikes.
Nothing beats a good ride on this, dude. This is good.
Yeah. Right on, man.
During the large growth of the western United States, mostly because of the gold rush during the mid to late 1800s, Route 66 was the main thoroughfare. A lot of the small towns along this route relied on travelers coming to and fro. But then as major interstates like I-10 were built, a lot of these small towns along Route 66 no longer had the cash flow they needed, and most of them have become these sleepy western towns that are almost trapped in time. For those of you who have seen the Disney cartoon Cars, Seligman is one of many towns that could have been the Radiator Springs that's portrayed in the cartoon. Route 66 really is an awesome motorcycle road. It's obvious why people travel from all around the world to experience the history of this route. With a little bit of smart planning and a little bit of luck, we had the perfect weather on this trip. As we continued east down Route 66, we started to climb in altitude as we approached Flagstaff. We could feel the temperature start to drop 10 to 20 degrees. This is when it's kind of nice to have two pairs of gloves. When you experience the hot and the cold, it's nice to be able to swap out from your cool gloves to your warm gloves. Because soon we'd be dropping right back down in elevation as we approach Sedona.
Alright, here with Jamie here. He's got his 2021 model year Road King Special, Deadwood Green, one of my personal favorite colors. Jamie, how you liking the bike so far? Tell us about your, what do you got, 8,000 miles on the bike so far?
Yeah, we just turned 8,000 on this trip. Absolutely love it as much as the day I bought it. Still in love with the color, the style, the ride. Got the ergonomics dialed in for me with my short stature and of course a few injuries that I've acquired through the years. I did change the bars up, I think, from one of the last videos, just to get a little more pullback for myself because of some issues of broken collarbones and stuff like that, and rotator cuff stuff. But yeah, so it's just sometimes it's a challenge to work out what you need. But the good thing is, if you if you're persistent, you keep trying. There's usually a combination that'll work for you, so that you can go the longer distances without having all the any types of pain. But yeah, absolutely loving it, and can't wait to put more miles on it.
Soon enough, the desert shrubs turned into pine trees and we knew we were climbing in altitude. One of the things I love about motorcycle traveling is going through different geographic areas and watching the topography change into completely different landscapes. We knew we were getting close to Flagstaff when we started to see the snow-capped mountains. This last stretch of Highway 40 was pretty scenic. The skies were filled with just the right amount of clouds. There was a little bit of chill in the air, and the scenery was so perfect you felt like you were riding in a Harley-Davidson brochure. After 2 days of riding and about 400 miles, we were all pretty stoked to finally have reached the 89A. We were about to head south and burn up some pavement on the road that we planned the trip around. We were all anticipating what would probably be the highlight of the ride. If you're starting from the north and headed south on 89A, you start off at a higher elevation. Then as you make your way down, you come to a place called Creek Vista, which is an amazing turnout. I highly recommend stopping here and taking in the views. This is a rad vista where you can see all the way down into the valley. You can also see the twistiest part of the road where you drop in elevation really quickly. You're basically taking an already amazing road, and if you want to narrow it down even further to the very best part of the best road, this is the section that is absolutely amazing.
So we're at Oak Creek Vista right now, coming down 89A south. There's like a left-hand turn and you can turn off, and it's like a really popular scenic area. You have an amazing view of like the canyon and everything. And then there's this road that we're gonna be going down here pretty soon. That's like this really twisty, windy road that you go down in elevation really, really quickly. And so that looks like a really, really fun road as well. But yeah, so far 89A is absolutely amazing. We're headed into Sedona right now. We'll probably grab a bite to eat once we get into Sedona. But once we hit Flagstaff, you know, it cooled down a little bit, but now as we're going south on 89A, headed into Sedona, it's definitely warmed up a little bit as well. But yeah, the weather is perfect today, so looking forward to continuing down 89A and headed into Sedona, and then we're going to end up at the end of the day in Prescott.
If I had the time, I'd probably run this stretch of road back and forth 10 times. It was definitely the best part of the trip. The only thing I didn't like about it is it was over way too quickly. You won't be going very fast on this stretch of road because of all the hairpin turns. That's okay though, because you'll be too busy taking in the views anyways.
Alright, here with John Terrido. So John's one of our technicians. I know you guys have seen him in videos before. We did a highlight on his special construction chopper, but for the long road trips he doesn't bring that. He brings his 2010 Street Glide. John, how have you liked it so far?
I'm loving it. We got it used from us at the shop, and it had like 48,000 miles on it when I bought it. Right now I'm at a little over 53,000 miles. Put a couple thousand miles on it so far and loved it. I did a couple of changes. I put the bars on it, which they're called the twisties, and I'm loving them. They're kind of narrower than normal bagger bars, and right now I'm just got the stock shocks. And on this ride, when the back roads and get a little potholes and bumpy, it makes me start thinking about upgrading the suspension, but maybe later down the road. So, and then customized exhaust. Put a Shorty Thunder header that they don't make anymore, and luckily another mechanic at the shop had one and was able to make a deal with him to get it. But other than that, loving the bike. Ride's great. Right now I just have the Power Commander 5 on it, which I noticed some tunability issue because it doesn't have the O2 sensors, so there's no self-adjustments for the altitude, so making me think I might look into a different tuning module for that adjustment.
Right on. Cool. The bike looks good, man. Sounds good too.
When you make your way into the bottom, you're at the base of the valley, and then you have incredible views in all angles. This is the area in which you really start to see the cliff sides start to change colors. The closer you get to Sedona, the more red and orange rock and sandstone formations you're going to see. Until finally when you get into Sedona, it's like you entered a Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner cartoon. I'm definitely not a geologist, so I can't even begin to describe exactly how these rock formations came to be, but all I can say is Mother Nature really spent some extra time in this area. In this area just north of Sedona, the skyline is absolutely breathtaking. I can definitely see why Sedona is one of the most photographed areas in the state of Arizona. And I can definitely see why this area has a long history of old Western movies being filmed here. The scenery in Sedona is the epitome of the Wild Wild West. It's good to know that places like this are preserved and protected. As a bunch of us were reminiscing and looking back on the trip, there's only a couple regrets that we had about the trip. One, we wish we would have gotten an earlier start on Sunday morning. We had a late night in the casino on Saturday night, and so we were a little bit tired on Sunday morning, so we didn't get the early start that we should have gotten. And as a result, we were a little bit rushed as we went through Sedona. We wish we would have stopped off at a couple more turnouts. There's a place called Grasshopper Point that's a really cool turnout that I wish we would have had time to stop at. And the second thing is we spent way too much time trying to figure out where we were going to eat lunch. And we spent way too much time eating lunch. But for the most part, the day was amazing. We hit up the sites that we wanted to see. The weather was perfect. It was relatively low traffic getting through the highway, and the bikes all ran flawlessly. We did take the time to stop off at one turnout called Midgley Bridge Picnic Area. It's always nice to be on the motorcycles just because a lot of times these areas get overcrowded and there's absolutely no parking left. So to be on motorcycles and be able to squeeze in through the cracks is pretty nice. This is a great place to stop and take in the sights. You have amazing 360 views here. You also have the Midgley Bridge, which has a hiking trail that goes up underneath it. But in this location, you really are at the heart of the beauty of Sedona.
So we made it into Sedona. Right now we're at a place called Lisa's Pizza.
Oh, baby. Yeah, yours. Let's go.
Nice. That was yours, yeah. That's you.
Yeah, there's a honey sauce, yeah.
We're just kind of like in the heart of like the downtown area in Sedona, and everywhere you look, you're like surrounded by these red mountains. Pretty awesome scenic place to be. So we got all the bikes here, and so we're gonna grab a quick bite to eat, and then we're gonna go into Jerome and head into Prescott where we're staying for the night.
Riding up into Jerome over the mountain pass was definitely one of the highlights of the trip that we had planned and we were looking forward to. But like I said earlier, the day at this point was getting away from us a little bit, so as we left Sedona, the sun was setting. At this point, we knew we'd be riding into the old western town of Jerome at night. If you read the history and lore of Jerome, you'll find that many people deem it haunted. One of many things that give it that reputation is the old insane asylum that you'll find there. All of us agree though that the uniqueness of the road and the town of Jerome warrant a trip back here to check it out more thoroughly one day. But for purposes of this trip, we'd be flicking on our brights, blazing through the canyon road in the pitch black, and dodging any ghosts.
Just got done with the hot tub here in Prescott. Here with the boys.
Just melted away the last 400 miles.
That's right. Great day of riding. Sedona, started in Laughlin. Calling it a night. Went through Jerome. Jerome was awesome.
I cried when I got Sedona.
You cried?
It was so beautiful that I shed a tear.
It was beautiful.
It was like nothing I've ever seen before.
It was gorgeous. All right, day 2, let's go. Waking up here in Prescott, Arizona. Headed out to the bikes right now. I think some of the boys are out here already, getting their bags all packed and getting ready to go. So we're gonna go south down through 89A once again. We're just gonna head south down to like the 60 and then back to the 10. Take the 10 west and head home.
Sorry.
You guys anxious to leave or what?
No, just packing, waiting for you guys to roll out of bed and yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, I thought we set a time like 9, and that we were gonna stick to it, but
Being early is on time, man.
okay. Yeah. So here with Nick, he's got what, about 5,000 miles on the Pan America now. So Nick's converted from his several lowriders into slim, and he's now on the Pan America. So I wanted Nick to give us a little bit of an update on what it's like touring and doing a couple trips and things like that on the Pan America.
Yeah, I've done a few trips now, mostly day trips. This is the first overnighter I've done on the bike, I think, and about 5,000 miles on it. I'm enjoying it as much, if not more, than when I first got it. You know, when I first got it, I missed the big twin experience. You know, obviously the classic 45-degree V-twin Harley is always going to have like a special place in my heart. But for the kind of riding I do, which is mostly commuting and the occasional day trip, like the practicality of a bike like this is amazing. And then throw in the added benefit really of being able to hit the dirt with these guys when we want to do something a little more adventurous. It's basically a do-it-all kind of bike, and I really don't have any regrets. It's been awesome. I just need to get my 5K done because we hit it on this trip, and I just can't think of really a bad thing to say about this bike. Suspension's been amazing. You know, I'm watching a lot of these guys, swerve, try to dodge potholes, that kind of stuff, because a lot of the roads in the part of Arizona that we were in were just they were rough, real rough, to put it mildly. I just rode through them.
Well, bike looks good, man. Yeah, there were plenty of times where I wished I was on my Pan America, but there were times I was happy on my street glide as well. So
yeah, locking bags would be nice. I do miss that from the lowrider.
Heading south out of Prescott, we continued to fly down Highway 89. At this point, unfortunately, you lose a lot of that unique, dramatic red rock formation surrounding you. And although you lose some of the uniqueness of Sedona, this canyon road still has some spectacular views. When it comes to motorcycle twisties that any motorcyclist would go out of his way to find, this highway is definitely one that anybody would go out of their way to ride. Once you reach the bottom of Highway 89, the magic seems to fade. You're no longer on the twisty canyon roads with the awesome views. We made our way into Congress, Arizona and made a ride on the 71. The mountainous forest areas quickly turned into the desert floor. You're met with a few more cool little towns like Yarnell that really capture the spirit of a secluded western town. At the bottom of Highway 60, we caught the Interstate 10 and headed west. The 10 west heading back into Southern California is pretty ugly and just a bunch of desert for the most part. The temperatures soon reached the high 90s and we knew the best part of the ride was over. Cruise control came on and that's when we just started blazing. But overall, our trip to Sedona and our ride down Highway 89 was pretty dang epic. The critics were right. This road would definitely hit my top 10 of best roads I've ever been on in the United States. And Sedona, Arizona will always be one of my favorite places to ride. Maybe it's the red sandstone rock formations that span the skyline in Sedona. Maybe it's the fact that you feel like you're riding through your favorite Western movie. Maybe it's the amazing change in landscape as you ride through the forestry area up on the top of a cliff and then dropping down the side of a mountain into the most epic valley you've ever been in. Maybe it's experiencing it with some of your closest riding buddies. The only thing I know for sure is it's best experienced on two wheels. If you guys haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and follow along as I take a lifelong journey with Harley-Davidson motorcycles. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Our next long trip will be to the north rim of the Grand Canyon.